Welcome back. It's Di from 18 Monday Street Journals, and this is all thank you to Pam at Glam Junk Journals, who did a wonderful tutorial on how she made these lookalike spine bookmarks using paint chips. And I had to do it to see how it would turn out, and I'm going to put it in my ideas journal. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Pam. And this led me down a little bit of a garden path, because I thought to myself, well, I'll just run you quickly how she did it. She took the paint chip. These have got horrible long words on them, and they're really wide and fat, so I had to chop them down and join two together. So she did that, and then she got some glue and ran a thick bead of glue across those lovely white lines. So, you don't even have to have a straight hand, you just follow the lines. Let that dry overnight. Then took some sewing machine pattern paper and scrunched it up really well. And then took my Mod Podge, which is the matte Mod Podge, and stuck that down. Then when all of that was totally dry, I took a gold pen and went across each ridge, and then I got some wax. I've got some wax here somewhere, and I just rubbed it in. It's copper actually, but I just rubbed it over the raised veins from the paper, and yeah, it works a treat. So thank you, Pam. That worked fantastic. Now I want to do I've got three more in the offing. And this will let you know, that's them joined together and what they look like before you put the tissue paper down. And that was the glue. I've just used a Posca black paint pen, and because I wanted to see it through this, so I just ran that across when the glue was dry, and then I stuck that down with Mod Podge. And then when all of that was dry, I went over the black with the gold. So that's how we did that. I'll link Pam's tutorial because it's really good. I'll link that down below. But moving on from that, which was a fantastic idea, I've not seen anything like that before, I wanted to do this journal. And because the paint chips, they're quite dark, they're good. And I thought, what if I paint the cardboard of the journal I want to do, and then I could do a design with the glue. Now, I didn't use hot glue. I don't like hot glue because it comes off the paper half the time. I just used this glue. It's got a nozzle which is a little bit wider than the art glitter glue, and it's really good to draw with. It turned out that was just serendipity, really. You can see that's just a little bit bigger than the art glitter glue. Don't know where I got that. It was on special. I quite like it. It's good, and half the price. Anywho, I'm getting off the track, aren't I? So I thought to myself, okay, right, well, I can paint the colour green I want on my cardboard, which was just a cardboard envelope. And then I printed out, I think it cost me $2. I forget, and I'll leave the description in the description below. I'll leave who these were from. I think it was about $2 from an Etsy store, and it's a photocopy of a vintage French book. And you can see it's got all beautiful details on it. So I sort of ripped that up. There's two sides of it, and then that was in the middle. That was the spine. And I was looking at the spine, and then I started to think about embossing underneath the tissue. And then I thought, hang on, why don't I just simply trace the design, so I stuck it down onto the cardboard. Then I took the glue. Now this is all nice and dried, so you can see a little bit. and it's taken about an hour and a half to dry. But I've made it so that it's quite thick and raised. It feels like embossing. And I just followed the design and I did the corners. And then I'm going to cover it with the tissue paper and see what we get. Now, you might be thinking, why didn't you just emboss it? Well, yeah, I could have. But I don't have an embossing folder that's pretty. And you might be thinking, well, why didn't you just use the stencil and texture paste? And yeah, I could have, but I didn't, because I thought this is a worthwhile little trick to have up your sleeve on those occasions where you either don't have the stencil or you don't have the embossing folder and you don't even have any texture paste. Actually, I've got a fantastic homemade recipe on texture paste. If you subscribe to my channel, if you haven't already done so, and go through all my videos, I think there's about 200 of them, but in there you will find texture paste recipe. And if I remember, I'll link it in the description below. Anywho, where was I up to? Right, so anyway, that's all dry now. So I'm just debating with myself. I think I will. I think I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go around with the black just over the top of the glue. Oh, that looks good. Because then it'll be easier. I mean, obviously I can feel it, but the texture paste will get really texture paste. The sewing paper, when I put it down with the Mod Podge, it will get really lumpy, and so this way I'll definitely be able to see where on earth I'm going underneath. So I'm liking this so far. Okay, let's see. This is sometimes where you have to be fearless, because it could all go wrong. Oh dear. But you've got to try these things. So thank you, Pam, Glam Junk Journals. I really, really appreciate learning all about how you did those bookmarks. And I think it's got a lot of useful applications, and somehow in all these years, and you've seen how big, most of you should have seen how big my ideas journal is. I don't think I've come across this one before. This is a really good trick to have up your sleeve. I'm just going to try and have a steady hand. I'm starting to get too excited, just trying to go a bit slower. Because once the Mod Podge and the pattern paper go down over the top of this, we'll be covering all this. We'll be going over it again, and this time with a gold pen. This is a very wide nib, so it's a bit awkward. It's not exactly fine. And it's the Uni Posca, chisel shaped, and it's an 8mm. I've had this for ages. It's a really good tool to have. Next time I'm down at Officeworks, I might try and get one that's maybe 4mm. And we don't have an Officeworks in our town, so I've got to go all the way down to Coffs Harbour. I love Coffs Harbour. It's a good place. Okay. Of course, there's always online, but okay, so this is where, oh, that's better. This is where the wide nib comes in handy. be interesting to see if this is worthy of being used. This might just end up in the ideas journal. But I thought, look, turn the camera on. We'll see what you think. I love using the texture paste on front covers. But I can see, like, on different, depending on what craft you were doing, like, or if you were covering like a curved surface or something like that, it would definitely have merit as another option in areas where you couldn't emboss. Okay, and these two corners now, and it pretty much dries. Pretty much dries immediately, so we should see results very quickly. Right. Ta-da! Fantastic. And I don't think, I was going to say, should I hit that with the heat gun? I don't think I'm going to need to. As it is permanent. Oh, that did come off a little bit. I might just give it a little blast. So I'll save your little ears and I'll be back in a sec. And I'm back. So now we're going to take the Mod Podge and we're going to take a dry brush. Mod Podge matte, and a piece of nice big tissue paper. Oh, now what we have to do is we have to crumple the tissue paper up real good, just like when you make faux leather pages. Okay, now let the fun begin. Actually, I might cut that down a little bit so it's not getting all over the place. I've used a nice old yellow one. Okay, let's go. I think I did just a little bit on the bottom. No, that's acrylic, so it shouldn't move the paint too much. But with Mod Podge, you should really have connecting, in this instance, the wet on underneath and then the wet on the top, and then you've got fantastic bond. And as you can see, that's not moving the texture. I'm so excited to see the result. I really am. Because I didn't with the bookmark, I got to this stage and I thought, I don't hold out any hope for this. But by the time we finished, I loved it. I thought, yep, this is great. Now this, this old antique book page, I did print it out on 160 GSM. to make sure there's some right, and then down we go. Pat it, pat it. Oh, there's beautiful wrinkles. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stipple. The Mod Podge, making sure the edges are really tight and the corners are really tight. Is this moving the camera? I'm sorry if there's any bumping. What I might do is pause you and then come back when we get right down to the bottom. Okay, I've jumped up and down, pounced on every centimetre of this creation. And so now we have to dry it. And then comes the fun bit of picking out over the black in the gold. And then putting on some wax. Now, where's my wax? This is my wax. It's a Little Birdie metallic wax, beeswax formulation, copper blaze, 20 ml. I've had this for about, must be 10 years, must be. Oh, hang on, that came off there. Oh, that was a lucky C. Whoops, okay. As you know, the corners are so important. Best to make sure we do it properly. As my father used to say, do it properly the first time and you won't have to redo it. Oh yeah, well there you go. I thought I'd done really well on the corners and I could have done better. Right. Sorry, you only saw my arm there, didn't you? It's rainy and cold here in Grafton today. Our spring has turned into winter. Top degrees today, 16 degrees Celsius. 2 days ago it was 27. And the week before that it was 30. 32, I think. Okay, right, enough of that nonsense. You don't want to know about the weather. Okay, or maybe you do, I don't know. Right, so I'm just going to, I'll spare you. I'm going to use my heat tool and I'll be back in a second. And I'm back and that's dried. Now I'll just peel it off my paper. Sorry for the crackle. And we're going to just trim it a little bit closer. And you think, yeah, it doesn't look anything so hot now, does it? But that's what I found with the bookmarks. But okay, right. That's what we're left with. Now if I can find my, here it is, my gold pen. Got a gold pen. What is it? A Montmartre metallic fine liner. 0.5 millimeter. Yes, a Montmartre is a very good brand. Montmartre. I don't know how old it is. I don't know if they still make it. But. So now, Okay. Here we go. Yeah, it feels good. I'm going to colour in over the top of the black. I love playing and doing experiments. Gee, I've got high hopes for this. I hope it turns out really good. Yeah, great die. Put your little big finger all through it. Lordy, lordy. Okay. Still, I'm not convinced. I'm not, you know, I'm openly optimistic. We can always go over it again. You might choose not to do the black. I just thought I should see what I was doing. Which is usually helpful. So I think it's going to be, you know, somewhat subtle. Well, let me know in the comments what you think, and if you've got another idea and do another idea as well, let me know. I'm just going to, I don't know if you can hear, you probably can't hear that, the wind is raging out there. It's raining and winding. I tell you what, if it started to snow, I would absolutely not be shocked. That's how crazy the weather is. Crazy. Yeah, so this is going to take up some time in the video, so I'm just going to be back in a minute. And we're back. Right, so we have done the colouring in. Yeah, do I like it? Is it worthwhile? I don't know. Seriously with you, this is why This is why all those amazing artists and people have invented texture paste and stencils and embossing folders. Yeah. I'm just going to rub some wax in. Maybe that will seal the deal, like it did for me with the bookmarks. I don't know what it is I'm not liking. Whether the dark green is too green around the outside. I should have gold wax instead of copper, which would be a help. I might have a copper metallic. Oh, I do have a copper metallic pen somewhere. Maybe. Well, what an afternoon. What an afternoon. Yeah. Oh, that looks better in that light. I don't know. If I had it to do again, I don't think I'd go underneath with the black. But it is what it is. I hope you've enjoyed watching me have fun and use up some things in my craft room. I've got to trim the edge. Whether or not I will use this in any way, shape or form, I don't know. Might go into my ideas journal. But thank you for staying with me. Thank you for indulging me. Try it, have fun, play with your own stuff. But look, I can highly recommend Pam's Glam Junk Journals. I can highly recommend her tutorial. It works. Maybe that's the secret. This was prettier colours underneath. That was more like a bluey green underneath. And maybe this green was just too dark. Not sure. The jury's out. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. See ya.